Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we are, another Browns Sunday. Dave, you looking forward to this one? I know the season's getting kind of away from us a little bit with the winning, but what do you think, buddy?
The season is getting away from us with the winning thing. Where have we heard that before? Where have we heard that before, my friend? Yeah, I'm trying to stay optimistic.
Yeah.
As we talked about with the last cast, there's really not a lot to stay optimistic about. Maybe eventually seeing the future of quarterback. Hopefully, Steve, is going to be the case.
But we have that to look forward to if it happens.
If and when it happens,
Yeah.
I think me and Steve hope to see that very soon. But, they play the Ravens. I always want to see them beat the Ravens. I don't know if I'm so optimistic that they're going to do so.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have some thoughts on that, Steve.
Yeah, I'm not as excited, like I even said for the Pittsburgh game
Yeah.
weeks ago, as I normally am for a Browns-Ravens game. I mean, it's more because Gabriel's starting
Yeah.
and it's all our issues and problems right now. It's nice when it's
Yeah.
competitive, I mean,
Yeah, it's just
I don't know.
yeah, no doubt about it. Well, we're going to get right to our first topic, and that is the Browns versus the Ravens. Got a little matchup here today at Cleveland. And Steve, get us started here. What do you think about today's matchup with the Browns and the Ravens?
Yep.
All right, boys. Well, the Browns lost to the lowly Jets last week. Meanwhile, all the Ravens beat the Vikings.
Yep.
The Ravens are one of the hottest teams of football right now, guys.
Yep. Got
They
their
won
act.
3 games in a row
That's right.
following their bye week,
Yep.
and they're getting back to winning and possibly trying to win the AFC North. That's what's at stake for them.
Yep.
The Browns are at home, but it doesn't seem to matter. They're still starting Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, and the offense has looked a little better since Tommy Rees has taken over the play calling, but they're still not looking very good offensively, guys.
But by the way, I hear those tickets are fairly economical today, Brent.
Yes.
Did you take out a second mortgage so you can afford the $6 ticket?
I don't know, Brent.
Are you deciding to buy bread and eggs?
I would think I would go for the bread and eggs today.
Okay.
If I had to make a choice between the two.
Yeah, anyways, continue, Steve.
That's exactly what I'm getting into, guys. Ticket prices for these games are as low as $6
Wow.
each.
Yeah.
When you lose and your quarterback isn't very good, that tends to happen. It's like Jimmy's letting Stefanski choose his guy for the moment, but eventually he will make him turn to Shador Sanders, who will put butts in seats, and ticket prices will skyrocket then.
That's the one thing is, and I think Jimmy knows that in the back of his mind. That's why I think it's eventually going to have to take the call from Jimmy.
Because it's going to be hitting the wallet.
In the wallet, if he sees empty seats, at the tune of $6 seats, and you still see empty seats with
Well,
that,
then you're not going to.
yeah, because he knows that Shador would be a draw.
Well, most
He knows
people
Shador
know
would be a draw.
another reason why you make, even with $6, you make money with those games because people are going to spend a lot on concessions.
Well, that's what he's hoping for.
Well, you hope so.
The
Yeah,
beer
yeah, that's true.
And everybody, but a lot of people get liquored up before they go to Browns.
Yeah,
games.
that's true.
I've been to that Muni.
And you
lot.
don't
I know.
get. And a lot of times, do you want to spend $20 for a hot dog?
That's true.
Anyways, continue, Steve.
Well, speaking of, the Browns have 5 home games remaining on the schedule, and I can see Jimmy waiting not too much longer before he wants to see Shador.
Yeah.
Many say Stefanski won't play Shador, but he will get overridden by the owner, and as he should.
Yeah.
Some are saying to take the gamble and buy Browns tickets on the cheap now and sell them for high prices.
That's not a bad idea.
The one wants to see Shador.
I think we knew a ticket guy that was doing some stuff like that at one time.
And he told you about it the day of. Matter of fact, after the game, and he told you it was $500, and
Oh, okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Gee, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, anytime. I mean, appreciate it. Well, good looking out. Anyways, continue, Steve.
I mean, with Shador starting, it will be a story in itself. I mean, everyone across America will be, can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
That'll definitely put butts in seats, guys. And if Dylan Gabriel does not do good today, guess what you're going to hear? Chance.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Yeah.
want Shador. We want Shador. It may happen today if he doesn't look good. Anyway, let's get back to the game.
Yep.
So the Browns need to run the ball, and Quinshawn Judkins had his rookie game debut against the Ravens.
Yep.
He had 10 carries, 61 yards, despite the 41-17 loss earlier in the season. They should give him 20 to 25 carries, because he is their offense. And I hear it's going to be windy in Cleveland.
Well, the only one thing observation is this was a Ravens run defense that was really getting gashed earlier in the season. Houston did it. The Detroit Lions did it. They have gotten their act together, though, these last few games, I think, to a certain extent, Steve.
Yeah. The offensive line is considered healthy, so that's good going into the game. Jerry Jeudy finally had a good game, so I see Reese making him the leader in the targets in this game again. I expect to see my boy Cedric Tillman to get more targets, and I'd like to see him get some long balls to him because he can catch them if you throw to him, like how Jameis Winston did with them last season against Baltimore, 2 touchdowns in one game. And Tillman actually had a touchdown catch in the first game from Joe Flacco.
Was that the highlight of the Tillman career so far in Cleveland?
He was catching touchdown passes before he got injured and before Flacco left.
That might be his best game that game last year. The Jimmy Donovan game is known.
Yes,
for.
yes, he was great in that one. The tight ends, David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr., seem to be Dylan's favorite targets. So if we're in the red zone, look for those two to possibly catch a touchdown pass if they can move the ball in that direction, guys. Defensively, the Browns will be without defensive end Alex Wright, who's had a solid season, but I have good faith in Isaiah McGuire to come in and fill in as a solid replacement. Defensive tackle Malik Collins is questionable, and he might actually be out. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's kind of like flip a coin. He may be out, guys.
Interesting to see. Do we see more snaps for Mike Hall, who's been talked about? I think from what I'm hearing, he's still recovering from that injury. So it's going to be interesting to see how many snaps he gets in this game with Collins being out, because Collins was playing some really good football.
Oh yeah, Collins is playing like Pro Bowl type season so far this year, guys. You'll probably see Dave actually a little more of Shelby Harris. He'll have to step it up.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But definitely Michael Hall Jr. could get rotated in more often if he's out, if Collins is out. So that means someone's going to have to pick up the slack in that interior defensive line, and that's going to be Mason Graham. He'll be expected to carry that load if Collins is out. Myles Garrett needs to have a huge game and give the fans something to cheer for in this game. I'd like to see a few sacks out of him, because this is a home game, man. But we still got fans that we got to take care of, and Myles Garrett would be the guy. To help do that.
I will say the Browns have shown some fight against the Ravens at home in the past. Last year's game being an example of it.
Yeah.
It's just going to be interesting to see. I'm really interested to see what Dylan in this offense looks like one more week under Tommy Reese. We saw some signs, as we talked about in the review. The clock's ticking here, folks. It really is.
Yeah. Carson Schlesinger and Devin Bush will have to make plays like they have. Bush had a sack on Lamar Jackson in the first meeting. In the secondary, Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell will have to play good against the Ravens receivers, because Greg Newsome in the first matchup actually had a real good game against Baltimore. So since he's been traded, let's hope that Tyson Campbell will follow suit there. And then, of course, look for Grant Delpit. He's had a heck of a year, guys, to play hard. He's a great safety for the Browns. The Browns defense seems to play great the first half, but then, unfortunately, they get tired.
Yeah.
So the offense has to move the ball, or at least run Judkins and eat clock. I mean,
how many times have we talked about it, Steve? I mean, and we talked about it, Brent. They hold down the fort for a half. They hold down the fort for 3/4. But it's only so long. You can only take so many empty drives out of the offense, 3 and outs by the offense. Maybe the offense has a turnover, as we saw in that third quarter against New England when they put the defense in a bad spot after a couple bad turnovers. So,
and then the first meeting, Lamar Jackson, I believe, had 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but we stopped him early in the game.
Yeah, right. For most of the first half and into the third quarter to a certain extent. Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, he's playing through a slight knee injury, but they say he will be okay. And you guys remember we stopped Derrick Henry to 23 yards in the first game rushing.
Yeah.
I can see the Ravens running him more in this game. I don't think you're going to see, it's going to be a tale of 2 different games, you know what I mean?
Sure.
The Browns' run defense was number 1 then, but it's tailed off just a little
bit.
They're still top, but not,
Yeah, still top 10 run defense.
Yeah. Zay Flowers and D-Hop had big games last time, so I'd like to see the Browns' defense stop them. But Flowers showing that he's a solid number 1.
Yeah.
And not a big loss, but Rashad Bateman's out for the Ravens as a receiver.
Yeah.
Get this, boys. Tight end Mark Andrews, he wasn't involved much. I think he had 1 catch, 3 yards in the first meeting. He wasn't involved much, but look for him to play more in this game. He only needs 4 yards to surpass Derek Mason for the all-time Baltimore Ravens record in yards receiving.
Put together a very good career there. Always been like a Lamar's safety net in that offense, Mark Andrews.
I mean, it was too bad that he dropped some of those balls.
Yeah, that Buffalo game was rough for him last year. Sure.
Yeah.
He's been solid all his career.
Yep.
And they still believe in him, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Marlon Humphrey is out in this one defensively. Look for Roquan Smith to feast all day for this Ravens defense. Getting pressure to Dylan Gabriel doesn't seem like a tough task for this defense. Kyle Van Noy is another tough linebacker to watch out for. Of course, Kyle Hamilton, one of the best safeties in the business.
Yeah, great player.
And the Ravens secondary also, cornerback Nate Wiggins, pretty solid. I believe he had an interception against them in the first game. Let's see if Bubba Ventrone can make up for that absolutely awful special teams performance against the Jets.
Oh, good old Bubba.
Oh, boy. I mean, I hope we can keep them in check, because handling Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers, that's going to be tough in itself.
Right.
So the special teams better show up. I imagine they should, right? They should make tackles on the kickoffs, tackles on the punt returns, and not give up the big play. I mean, can we do that?
They brought this guy to improve the special teams, but the special teams has got nothing but worse. And, it's sad. I mean, now we're looking at the Stefanski coaching staff in a negative light. It's not just that we have problems with Stefanski, we're having problems with the staff. It's
crazy. And he was named assistant head coach. I mean, to me, that was just always crazy. That was just a way to push Jim Schwartz out of the way. Just handle our defense. We have the coaching and assistant coaching handled when Schwartz is better. Kevin Stefanski said that the team has practiced really hard this week. I guess what else is he going to say? I mean, at this
you
point,
get the coach speak out of Kevin Stefanski right now. It's it's that corporate coach speak you talk about all the time.
Yeah,
He sounds very corporate, towing the company line. He will never answer your question. We're looking into that. That's not an option. I mean, he'll never answer a question directly. He's learned that kind of politician speak, which is they answer your question without answering your question, basically, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just bad. It's not even, Belichick's even better, and even he was pretty cut and dry. But at least he's told you nothing to see here.
Right.
Stefanski just works around it.
Well, with Belichick, remember he can get away with that because he had the Super Bowl rings.
Oh yeah, he did.
And
then he also said his famous, "Hey, on to Cincinnati."
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, continue.
One good note is the Browns have won 3 of their last 4 home games against the Ravens, and they won their home game last season. I don't think John Harbaugh will be feeling any pity for the Browns, and they are one of the hottest teams in football. It goes to show you if you have a star quarterback and he's out, though, it's tough to win without a quarterback, guys.
Sure.
The Ravens learned that. Man, they were losing.
You better have a good backup, a.k.a. the 49ers.
Right.
There's at one point,
Mac Jones, right?
The Browns were their only victory, because when Lamar Jackson goes out, I mean, see, you need a quarterback. I mean, in the Browns.
I think we've known that for about 26 years here, Steve.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Browns know all about it, especially when they have this top defense. It's just too sad. It's sad. Unfortunately, boys, I see a repeat in this one. The Browns defense will play well, but get tired and try, but will be out of gas, especially by third and fourth quarter. I have the Ravens winning 44-17.
Wow, Steve.
Jeez.
Sorry, Browns fans. Until the change is made at quarterback, expect to see him keep losing and losing big.
Wow.
Ooh, Dave, you got
a
a tough one to follow up, buddy. I mean, man, you really do.
Steve is out.
So yeah. So we will get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us a preview of this Browns versus Ravens matchup.
Okay. Well, the Browns return home to play the Baltimore Ravens. Are you guys pumped? I can see Steve is.
Do I have to? Is Steve and I going to make that? We're gonna, the 4:00 start. We're gonna even show up and
you got those $6 tickets, Brad. So exactly. I'm gonna go get my eggs and my bread. You're gonna have the $6.
The $6 ticket. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right.
The Browns have lost 5 of their past 6 games and have entered the all too familiar phase of the season where they're just trying to play spoilers for their opponent. The Ravens, on the other hand, have gotten their act together. As their health has improved, they've won 3 consecutive games and re-entered the playoff race. And a lot of people, as Steve mentioned, consider them the favorite to win this division. I do. I'm one of those people, by the way. Baltimore can win its 4th straight game after the 1-5 start with victory over the Browns in Week 11. The Ravens have turned their season around behind a stout defense that's allowed just 13.7 points per game over the last 3 weeks. They've kind of turned it around defensively because they were getting gashed earlier in the year. But, now they played better football teams. They ran up against Josh Allen and Buffalo the first week, that really good Lions offense on Monday night. So they did face some good opponents. Although they hit rock bottom, I remember the Texans really gutted them offensively, and that was a struggling offense at the time.
Yes.
So they've gotten their act together on that side of the ball. The Browns have lost 5 of their last 6, but they have historically played the Ravens particularly tough in Cleveland. Remember last year, the Jimmy Donovan game? We've had some battles with them at home. I remember they had a great Monday night game. Remember that Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson game on Monday night?
That was a great one.
That was a great football game. They made that field goal at the end to beat us.
Yeah, they beat the.
That's right.
Packed at the Tony's for that. We had a ton of people cheering them on, but yeah, we lost by the field goal.
Oh, the COVID year, the best year.
Everyone got sick after that. We had a big party, having fun, and then everyone got sick. Me and Leslie.
Yeah, everybody went home and got the Rona, I guess. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not sure that'll be the case again in this one. This will be Dillon Gabriel's 6th consecutive start for the Browns at quarterback. And as I said, the clock must be ticking here, folks. I think we are all still waiting for quarterback Shedeur Sanders. I know Steve is. Brett, I think you're at that
ready.
point, and you were a Dillon supporter.
Sure.
This still appears Dillon's job for at least this week. He is coming off a 2-touchdown performance against the Jets. Gabriel was at his best when he was able to roll out, and he was, had a clean pocket, and he can make those intermediate throws that I've talked about he needs to make. He was able to get Jerry Jeudy involved on several throws, who had his best game of the year with the 6 catches for 78 yards and the TD. Dillon was at his worst when he had to stay in the pocket and, struggling to go through his progressions, taking 6 sacks. He was just letting the pocket collapse around him. And we talked about holding the ball too long. A couple of those sacks were on him. The Ravens defense has struggled at times. They were, again, 26th overall, even though they're playing better. 25th in scoring, 20th against the run. So maybe there's an opportunity for Judkins on the ground today. But I think the Ravens know that. I think that they're going to try to limit the ground game as much as possible and make Dillon make some throws to beat him. Probably design some interesting blitz packages to get after him. They were really gutted early in the season, giving up a ton of big plays, this Ravens defense. But again, they've turned it around the last few weeks. They forced an NFL-high 7 turnovers while allowing just 3 touchdowns. Again, it'll be interesting to see if Judkins can get something going against this 20th-ranked defense. He is coming off the 12-carry, 75-yard performance against the Jets. Again, the Ravens have struggled at times to generate a pass rush. It will be interesting to see if they run some different blitz packages at Dillon Gabriel. They do things to scheme up pressure to generate their pass rush. And the Browns' tackles have been struggling. And, again, Gabriel's starting to hold on to the ball. So that's the type of quarterback you want to throw the blitz packages at. Quarterback that's holding the ball, a rookie quarterback. You got struggling tackles. This one,
they're going to be Adam Davis, Roquan Smith. That guy scares us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he had a really good game the first time these two teams played, by the way, too, Steve.
Yeah.
Watch out for Cleveland native. I was going to give a shout out to outside linebacker Draymond Jones, who had a strong debut for the Ravens in Week 10 with 4 quarterback pressures and 2 hits and 39 defensive snaps. It'll also be interesting to see how the Ravens utilize Kyle Hamilton, one of the best safeties in the game. They love to line him up all over the field. On the other side of the ball, Lamar Jackson has rejuvenated this offense and this team. Lamar has more passing yards against the Browns, 2,544, than any other opponent. Also not a good sign, by the way. He has 15 TD passes to only 1 interception this season. He's also leading the NFL in quarterback rating. I didn't realize that, Steve. 127.1. So he's turned around his season. I mean, this was my Super Bowl pick at the beginning of the year. They're starting to look like it. I think they're playing better defense. They got Lamar healthy. The Browns cannot let Lamar extend plays. He's at his best when he can get outside the pocket, and he's dangerous on those broken plays. He kind of gets outside the pocket, kind of sucks up the defense. The secondary gets caught looking into the backfield, and then they hit a play down the field against him. expect Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate Carson Schlesinger, one of the bright spots on this football team this year, right, Steve?
Absolutely. I'm excited for him. He'll have to step it up.
Yeah, this will be a big game. We may see him in that spy technique on Lamar in this game. So he could have a big role that way. And also, playing the run with Derrick Henry. He'll be a player to watch in this one. Lamar will be without the services, Steve mentioned, of a wide receiver, Rashard Bateman, with the ankle injury. Myles Garrett has 8.5 sacks and 14 quarterback hits in his last 9 games against Baltimore. So, as always, you have to watch out for Lamar in this one. The interesting matchup against the Ravens tackles. Ronnie Stanley, one of the better tackles in football, and Roger Rosengart on the right side are their 2 tackles. Miles does tend to line up more on the right side, so that matchup with Rosengarten could be one to watch. The Browns and Miles will be without the services of the opposite defensive end, Alex Wright, as Steve mentioned, with the quad injury. Wright was playing some really good football so far this year, Steve.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was getting sacks almost 1 sack every game or every other game or something.
Well, it was kind of like
solid.
It was kind of like that situation that the Packers have, where you've got you have Parsons and then you have Gary.
Yeah,
Gary was benefiting from the attention that Parsons was getting over on the other side. The Browns held Henry to a season-low 23 yards on 11 carries in Week 2. And Cleveland safety Grant Delpit was talking a little trash leading up to that game. It's interesting. Pro Bowl fullback Patrick Ricard was sidelined in September, but he's back throwing blocks for King Henry. Henry continues to be one of the top backs in the leagues. He had some early season fumbling issues, Steve. Had big fumbles in those losses
right?
to Detroit and then Baltimore when they had that big lead. I'm sorry, Buffalo. Pardon me.
Yeah, Buffalo.
When they lost to Buffalo, they lost that lead on Sunday night. He had a key fumble. But 760 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns on the ground. He's having still another very solid year. The Browns again. 10th against the run, so they've been pretty solid. It'll be interesting to see if, with Collins being out, seeing more Shelby Harris, maybe a little bit more Mike Hall today, if that run defense can still be stout. Pardon me. Zay Flowers continues to be the top wide receiver threat, 50 catches for 625 yards receiving. The Browns continue to play more man coverage than any other team in the league. It'll be interesting to see if top corner Denzel Ward travels with Flowers. That would be an interesting one-on-one matchup, Steve. I think Ward versus Flowers in this one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one, Dave.
Yeah, the Ravens offense will offer some difficult challenges, especially with a healthy Lamar. It'll be nice to see if Dillon and this offense can get something going. Let's try this. Let's try putting some drives together. Let's try avoiding turnovers, limiting 3-and-outs. Well, I can dare to dream, can't I, Steve?
Yeah. And can we look like a real football team for once? That would be, what a concept.
My fear is with Dylan Gabriel. Now, he's a little better than the guy I'm going to mention, but they had to start DTR a couple of years ago against the Ravens, and we just got smoked. So that's my fear of today's game.
You know what?
It's at home, though. That's the only thing that's why I don't think that's going to happen.
Well,
I don't think we're going to get blown out.
At home and
but he...
Well,
yeah, but here's the thing. That guy can't even throw 10 yards. Come on.
I mean,
it's a little different.
Yes,
he could in the preseason.
I'm with Brett on this. As much as I think, I know Dylan's got his shortcomings.
Yeah.
His ability to throw the football accurately, I'll take it over DTR.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with Brett on that.
And with Reese in there, it definitely isn't going to be as bad as it would be.
That
with Stefanski
out there having Tommy Reese.
Yeah, I think Reese. You know what I noticed? You saw the rollouts. He did look a little more comfortable with Reese. Yeah. What goes to show you, Stefanski, what happened to him? He was like a decent coordinator at the beginning of this. Well, he's not good anymore. What happened?
I think what we talked about. I think Stefanski needs his best year was already with a ready-made team.
Yeah,
when he had the ready-made team in the COVID year, because he was already inheriting his most talented roster because he already had his quarterback, he already had his running game. He just resituated the offense right around Kareem Hunt.
But he didn't even do good with Flacco, though.
I mean, here's the deal, guys.
Go ahead.
Kevin Stefanski, I mean, he's supposed to be an offensive-minded coach, a guru, a quarterback whisperer, et cetera, et cetera. Just think about this for a minute. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell.
Yes.
I'm not a big betting man like I was many years ago, but I can tell you this. None of those guys are going to fail at any of their offenses.
No.
I mean, I could even get deeper. Even Mike McDaniel, Miami Dolphins. I mean, none of these guys still continue to call good games. Even Mike McDaniel not winning a bunch of games, he still can call a good offensive game. It's like
Steve, you're right.
It just fell off the cliff, man. It's like he's
That's okay. So when you guys watched the beginning of the season when Flacco was in there,
Yeah.
I saw something. I don't know if you guys. The schemes look bad. Flacco was in the gun way too much. He just didn't. It did not look like a normal Stefanski offense when he was at the early part of his career with the Browns.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
And Brent, and you know what's unfair to Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
He's playing great in Cincinnati, throwing for 400 yards passing. We actually all said, "Oh, we've seen enough." When he was in Cleveland, we've seen enough. He's done. He should go retire. He stinks.
Were we wrong?
No, Stefanski stinks. Stefanski's a soft sucker.
Well, let me make the last point, and I've said this a few times.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Stefanski tried to have the pulse of this team early and play conservatively offensively because he knew their only path to winning games this year was the way they beat the Packers.
Yeah, win
13 to 10,
right?
16 to 13. And to be fair, he's not completely off.
But he went too far with it, Dave. That's what you're saying.
Right.
Yep.
Well, he went too far with it because he has no confidence in. And when you're developing a young quarterback, you have to allow him to be. You have to be a little bit more aggressive. That's what we were bemoaning week in and week out.
You're right.
Is why weren't they Why weren't they pushing the ball down the field more?
You need to coach your players. Example: Joe Flacco. I know Dylan Gabriel. Put a scheme around them that works for them. McVay did it when Baker Mayfield went there. You put a scheme around your player. Yes. Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel. This year, Stefanski said, I'm taking back over. I'm taking the play calling. I'm doing my scheme. He's doing his system. He's doing what he wants. But he's not fitting the players in. Right? Yes. He's doing finally what he wants, and what he wants doesn't work.
But last point before I get to my conclusion here to the blame pie. He is also saddled with a roster that has poor offensive turnstiles and offensive tackles, the worst wide receiver core in the NFL, and you're trying to make this happen with a rookie quarterback. I mean, that's the deterioration of this roster over the last 3 to 4 years goes directly towards management, goes directly towards making maybe one of the worst trades in the history of pro football, which they made in Deshaun Watson. I mean, I believe Stefanski probably had to co-sign on it. I think he just went along with it because he's the corporate guy that Brent talks about. Yeah. He's the go along to get along kind of guy. I think if you put Stefanski under true serum, he probably never wanted Deshaun Watson. But this franchise is at where it's at because of poor drafting by Andrew Berry and the Deshaun Watson decision, which is one of the worst trades in the history of sports. That's where we're at right now, folks.
Yeah.
So, all right, in conclusion, the offense is still unbearable to watch, and I'm not sure things will look much better this week. The Ravens' defense, as I mentioned, has shown real improvement since early in the year. The Browns' defense can hold their own with Lamar and Henry for only so long, possibly a half or 3 quarters. We've seen this movie before. After that, the roof caves in. They give up a couple of big plays. They give up a couple of long drives just because they're tired. I'm just no longer optimistic about this quarterback, or as we just talked about, this coaching staff, particularly this head coach. This one is looking to be a long day. It's only going to get worse for Dylan, especially if he's careless with the football. Steve's score comes to pass if Dylan starts to have a couple of turnovers like he did in that third quarter against New England. I'm going with the Ravens 31-13, and this season's not getting any better, guys.
Yeah. Well said, Dave. We will get to the next segment there. That is the game of the week. And we will turn to Mr. Steve Ratzer. Steve, are we still in a slump? What's going on here, buddy? Are you going to get out of it? You need a slump buster? Or,
do you want me to give you a pick, Steve? I mean, I'm doing quite well over here.
I was going to say, are you going to do the Mark Grace thing and maybe get a, I don't know.
A bit. The season I was a little hot, and now I'm sizzling away.
I want Steve to get out of his slump. Steve, I know you're going to win this week. I got a good feeling Steve is going to go back on the winning week. This Green Show guy, he does too much winning. We got to, anyways. What do you got going on, Steve?
All right, boys, for the game of the week, I'm going with the Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers lost to the Chargers last week, while the Bengals lost to the Bears. Sometimes you just don't know what Steelers team is coming out to play.
Yeah,
they've been very inconsistent when they used to be a very consistent football team.
Well, I think
week after week.
I think there's a couple things going on. First of all, I think this is not the Pittsburgh defense we're used to seeing. I think there's some age maybe that's starting to show up on this defense. They got a lot of those big contracts. I haven't seen that top 10 to top 5 Pittsburgh defense that I'm used to seeing. And the other thing, too, about this Pittsburgh team, and I don't think this is all Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers has not necessarily been put into a good offense with that good of personnel. Outside of DK Metcalf, there's not a whole lot of playmakers on this team.
They don't have a lot of receivers, Dave.
Yeah, they're not. Well, and then the other thing is
a couple of decent tight ends and Johnny Smith and Pat Fryermuth, right?
Right. They haven't found a really good number 2 wide receiver has been the key.
Right.
They haven't found a good number 2. They haven't been as good at tight end as I thought they'd be. But the real loss on this team is they really don't have a real good running game. They do. I mean, a Mark friend from the bar had said that Warren was going to be an upgrade over Najee Harris, but I have just not seen it with the Steelers' running game so far this year either.
He's had a few good games, but he hasn't quite lived up. Again, like another guy that signed a contract and then not performing quite as well. But look for him to get a little better as the season keeps going.
Yes.
The Bengals can score, but this defense is just pathetic. Both of these teams need to win really bad to try to secure the division because the Ravens aren't letting up at any time soon, guys. The Bengals beat the Steelers on Thursday Night Football earlier in the season, so I think the Steelers didn't forget that and will be ready for them behind a loud crowd in Pittsburgh cheering them on and waving those annoying, terrible towels. I hate those things, by the way.
It's just amazing to me how the Bengals defense has really regressed over the last few years. And it cost Joe Burrow and that team a chance to really be good last year.
I was just going to say, I don't even think Burrow would be good this year with that defense.
Yeah, well...
It's bad.
Well, it probably it would be somewhat similar to what we saw a year ago, where they're dropping 35, 40 points, but they're giving up 35, 40 points. Well, I mean, Burrow lost 4 games last year where they put up over 30 points.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's been a good supplement to Burrow.
Yeah.
They'd be doing about the same. I mean, I know Burrow's way better than Flacco. Don't trust
but
me.
it wouldn't. Not much difference. So no,
not much difference. They'd both be scoring big points, and they'd probably still be losing. Because of the defense.
Playing Big 12 football. It's interesting because when they had that Super Bowl run in 21, that was really on the strength of the defense. I mean, Burrow played really well. Don't get me wrong, but Reeder, Hubbard, who retired. They lost Bates at safety. He was one of the better safeties in football. They just lost too much key personnel on that side of the ball over the last few years.
Yeah, in that first matchup, the Bengals won a stellar one. That was 33-31 in Cincinnati. And me and the Bengals were going crazy.
What a game. And if you remember, that was the one where Rodgers took the lead but they gave Flacco a few minutes.
Yeah, they gave Flacco too much time.
And that did it. But what a game. That was actually a fun game to watch.
I will say this. The Bengals are bad, but they're entertaining bad.
Yeah.
See, and that just shows you, when you're an offensive team, you're at least entertaining.
You are.
When
you're like us.
We're a defensive team. It's just like...
Well, that's why Retzer always said, like look at last year with the Winston game. At least that was entertaining.
Right, exactly.
Remember that?
Yeah, Winston was entertaining, and he did throw it downfield. I mean, just saying.
So, all right, continue, Steve.
So, with star quarterback Joe Burrow still sidelined, veteran Joe Flacco, he's been airing it out. Wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are always a threat.
Yep.
And the Bengals' only chance to make this a shootout, exploiting the Steelers' pass defense, which ranks 32nd in the league, guys.
Yeah.
In passing yards allowed. I didn't realize it was that bad. Yikes. Chase put up a staggering 16 receptions, 161 yards in the last matchup. I mean, that's insane. I mean, Burrow could probably do it too, but again, just get the ball to Chase. And like you said, Dave, I mean, you could throw long to Chase or you could throw short and then he can catch it and make the big plays running after the catch. Right,
it's the best qualities about Chase is he's got great hands. He can get deep on you, and his run after catch is as good or better than any receiver in the NFL.
One of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. It reminded me a little bit. I mean, Jerry Rice is the GOAT receiver at run after catch. That he can take that hitch or that slant and go, 75, 80 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase has that type of quality to where he catches a short pass and he gets so much yards after the catch. To me, he's the best receiver in the NFL.
I mean, he catches the ball and then he jukes and he stops and he slows down and then he speeds it up. Like I thought Jerry Rice was just like a burner, just like, whoa, he's gone. Chase kind of toys with the defender.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you. The Steelers are slight favorites for a reason. While their passing defense has struggled, the Bengals' run defense is dead last in the league. this is a perfect opportunity for Pittsburgh's running back duo. Jalen Warren had 127 yards rushing in the last meeting, guys, to take over the game and hopefully control the clock for Pittsburgh. On defense, T.J. Watt in the pass rush must create pressure on Flacco's to force turnovers, something that the Steelers did in the first game. The Bengals defense is allowing a league-high 33.3 points per game, guys.
Well, it's going to be interesting. This is really, I think, a must-get for Pittsburgh. This is,
it's a must,
especially with where the Ravens are trending right now.
Oh, yeah. They got to win this. Yep.
Cincinnati will try to establish the run to keep Watt off of Flacco, but the Steelers' run defense is solid, 14th in the league. The Steelers can shut down the Bengals' ground game, but they will put all the pressure on Flacco in an injury-plagued Bengals offense. The Bengals are without star defensive end on defense. Defensive end Trey Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart is out to make matters worse for Cincinnati.
So you're going to take maybe their two best pass rushers off.
Already bad team.
Off an already bad defense.
Bad team, good luck.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I don't know what to tell you. They're going to start bringing in the scabs from the 80s. Remember that strike?
There you go.
You know what? They might actually do better.
Yeah.
The plumber and the...
Low-key, very underrated football movie with Keanu Reeves, The Replacements.
Yeah.
Solid.
But think about it this way. Hold on.
Yeah.
Dave, answer this. Do you think the scabs would be better than that?
Gosh, I mean,
They're pretty bad, guys.
I mean, the thing about
it might be better.
It's an awful defense, and you're going to tell me you're going to lose Trey Hendrickson. You know what I mean? It's not good.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
The Steelers, they're without Darius Slay, the corner. Alex Highsmith, one of their top defenders, is out. Cole Holcomb is out. But they still have enough tough players on defense to handle these guys. The Steelers are at home and desperate for a win to solidify their AFC North lead. We expect the defensive intensity to be turned up with T.J. Watt in the front seven pressuring Joe Flacco all afternoon. The ground game led by Jalen Warren chews up the clock and exploits a weak Bengals run defense. The Steelers will get their revenge in this hard-fought division battle, and I think they'll pull away in the second half. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning 30-20 over the Bengals.
Okay,
wow.
Much needed win for Pittsburgh.
Well said, Steve. I'm going to be watching your game here. I want you to get back on winning ways, and
I'm sure you're rooting for him.
no, he's got to get his confidence up. Just trying to. Anyways, just trying to. Oh, we will turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Mr. All I Do Is Win.
All I do is win.
You and
win.
Charlie Sheen are signing autographs and. I don't know. Yeah, he's
winning.
You watching like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, what is he doing?
Ask Brent. He was Charlie Sheen before there was.
Yeah. And the thing is, we both agree that might be true.
What truth to that?
Anyways, all right. Yeah, we did agree with that. Okay, so that's another episode. Maybe is that an off-season episode? Maybe
Definitely off-season.
Yeah, that's an off-seison. All right, let's get it right into it. Dave, go ahead and give us your game of the week, and let's get right into it. Good job, buddy.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Buffalo Bills. The Buccaneers and Bills are looking to get back on track after disappointing losses in Week 10. The Bucs come off their bye week rested. Came off of their bye week rested and gave up a string of very big plays, which proved to be very tough in a close 28-23 loss to the visiting New England Patriots. The Bills came to Florida to play a Miami team and they had beaten 14 of its last 15 times in head-to-head meetings and left with a head-scratching 30-13 loss. This one will be big for both teams, especially the Bills, who are looking up at Steve's red-hot Patriots.
That's right.
Those 9-2 Pats. The Tampa Bay Bucs have won 4 of the last 5 NFC South titles. And I didn't realize that, actually. At 6-3, they are leading the division again. This game offers a great quarterback matchup, the reigning NFL MVP Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. The Bills' offense continues to roll. Bills' offense that ranks second in the league in yards, 6th in scoring through 10 weeks. Josh Allen is one of the NFL's premier dual-threat quarterbacks, 15 touchdown passes, 7 touchdown runs. He has been sacked 20 times this year, so he's taken some sacks. And the Buccaneers pass defense, although it's ranked 24th overall, they've recorded 26 sacks total as a team. So they've been able to kind of scheme up some pressure this year with that Todd Bowles defense. It'll be interesting to see if they can get after Josh Allen. His mobility always causes defenses issues. They have done a pretty good job of scheming up pressure. They blitzed the sixth most time of any team in the NFL. Levante David is still one of the best linebackers in the NFL. He's second on the team with 66 tackles. It'll be interesting to see if the Bills will be able to run the ball in this one. I love James Cook, by the way. He's one of the most underrated backs in the NFL. 920 yards rushing so far, while averaging 5.5 yards a carry, Steve.
Oh, that's pretty good, Dave. Yeah, Cook has definitely been carrying the load, but Josh Allen's been running in for touchdowns, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a dual threat. It's actually
with your quarterback and your running back.
Yeah, but well, they have pretty good balance offensively, and I'm going to get to that later. The Bucs have been solid against the run, ranking 11th. Vita Vea is that big space eater in the middle of that defensive line. It always makes it tough to run the ball against them. The Bills have done really, with the passing game with a wide receiver by committee kind of approach. Khalid Shakir leads the team with 45 receptions. The tight ends are also a big part of the offense. Dalton Kincaid leads the team with 4 touchdown receptions. It'll be interesting to see if the Bills can establish that ground game against the Bucs. Well, it'll be also interesting to see if Allen can deal with the Tampa Bay pass rush. Those are going to be 2 of the big keys in this one. On the other side of the ball, the Bills' defense faces a tough test with Baker Mayfield in this offense. This offense, as we've talked about for weeks, Steve, has been dealing with serious injuries. Mike Evans early in the season with that hamstring, and obviously Chris Godwin. Think about it. That was really supposed to be the number 1 and 2 threats at wide receiver for Baker coming in.
Oh, yeah. And those were Tom Brady's guys, and those were Baker's guys.
Yep.
You get him hurt. Tampa's still winning games. I got to give him that.
And Baker's still being a productive quarterback.
Yeah, Baker's learning to throw to the other receivers available.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that here in just a second. Yeah, because I imagine if they had an offense with a healthy Godwin, healthy Evans, rookie sensation Emeka Egbuka, and then Bucky Irvin healthy at running back. With
That's
this,
a tough squad.
They have
other good receivers. I know you're going to bring up
exactly, and I think that was probably your rationale behind your Super Bowl pick. You were expecting that offense to be probably healthy.
They got backups ready to come in and play.
Yeah. They lost wide receiver Chris Godwin and Bucky Irvin, by the way, have both been ruled out of this game. Even with the injuries, again, Baker's been solid. 10th in the NFL in passing yards, 11th in touchdown passes. This Bills defense has had some struggles, although it is the 11th overall scoring defense. The offseason acquisition of Joey Bosa, he's produced 4 sacks so far this season. The Bills have been without the services of one of their key defensive linemen, Ed Oliver. He's missing a lot of time due to a torn bicep injury. Ouch. Baker still has some really good weapons, as Steve just mentioned. Let's start with rookie sensation Emeka Egbuka. He is off to a great start with 40 catches, which is a 9th in the NFL. By the way, 9th in the NFL in receiving yards with 677. I would also watch out for rookie wide receiver Tez Johnson, who has 4 touchdown catches.
Yeah, Tez Johnson, he's really stepping it up, Dave. That's what I was going to say. I was going to let you say it first. Yeah. Johnson, he's looking good.
Well, credit their management for being smart and drafting well at wide receiver. In the draft.
Jeez, it's a thing. Can we learn from him?
Yeah, could we be so lucky? Rashard White will be taking over the duties at running back. He's only averaging 3.7 yards a carry. So, that's a loss with Bucky Irvin not being able to go again. The Bills have struggled to stop the run. They're ranking only 30th in the NFL in run defense. So it's going to be interesting to see if they get any type of a running game to kind of complement Baker in this one. I have my doubts about that. I just have a feeling without Irving, this game's still going to come down to Baker and those wide receivers throwing the ball around. In conclusion, this is a game that both teams really could use, especially coming off tough losses. The QB matchup is really going to be an interesting one in this one, as I mentioned. The reigning MVP Allen and Baker, who was looking the part really early in the season as an MVP candidate. We were talking about that early in the year, Steve. It's been really impressive, again, what Baker's been able to do, playing at a high level without his 2 starting wide receivers. Allen continues to be productive, even though they've really not found a dominant number 1. In the post-Stephon Diggs era, they don't have a dominant number 1 wide receiver. You look at Coleman, Shakir, they're solid.
Dave, we both expected Keon Coleman, right, to have a big year. And what, Shakur's doing better?
Shakir's been the leading wide receiver, and they throw to the tight end. Yeah. He's gotten a really strong running performance from Cook, and I think that's really helped out this offense. I expect this to be a battle. I'm expecting both quarterbacks to play really well. I just feel the Bills have a little bit more balance. They're playing at home. I think they kick a late field goal to win this one. 27-24 Buffalo.
Well
What do
said.
you think, Steve?
Well said, Dave.
Are you like your Bucks today?
I think Buffalo needs the win almost more than Tampa after losing to Miami. So but Tampa still needs a win. I kind of like Buffalo as well.
I got Buffalo winning that.
Okay.
They do.
I think it's a close one. I think it's a field goal game.
Yeah. Well said, Dave. We're going to get into mine here.
Yep.
And I got the Seahawks versus the Rams. This is the game that I want to see.
Yes.
This is it. This is
Well, you know what we're seeing this week, by the way? The 4 best teams in the NFC are playing against each other. Because you get Lions and Eagles, and then you get this one.
Yeah.
Seahawks and the Rams.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get right into it here. Get ready for an NFC West showdown as the 7-2 teams, the Rams and the Seahawks, clash in a massive Week 11 matchup where the winner takes sole possession of first place in the division. Both teams are riding 4-game winning streaks. Strength on strength, the Rams boast MB candidate Matthew Stafford leading a dynamic passing attack featuring Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams that will challenge a Seahawks pass defense that ranks 20th in the league, while Seattle's Sam Darnold will be tested by a Rams defense ranked 2nd in points allowed. Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, the Nacua-Adams combination is right there. Well, I was talking about Higgins and Chase. I think this could be the best 1-2 punch in the NFL right now, wide receiver. I also have to say, I saw a stat on Matthew Stafford, on pace, I believe, for 47, maybe 48 touchdown passes this season. The most since Aaron Rodgers' MVP year of 2020.
And Devontae Adams has really rejuvenated his career, right?
Yeah.
Because he was awesome for Green Bay, but then he wasn't so hot, right, for the Raiders. And
he put up some solid numbers with the Raiders. I think he's now settled into that number 2 role, though, opposite of Puka. So I'm sure it's great that he has another dominant receiver over on the other side. And Matthew Stafford is just playing at another level right now. It's incredible.
Yeah. With a closely set betting total of 48.5, and many analysts mirroring the pick, which I'll get right into that in a minute, the Rams slight favorites at home should be able to edge out a tough divisional win. I got them winning 27-20, capitalizing on their stout defense and Stafford's elite playmaking.
Yeah, I like Seattle's defense is really good. I think we're really underrating it. They've been able to generate a really good pass rush. They're fairly good on the back end. Witherspoon, one of the better corners in the NFL. Be interested to see if he's matched up against either Adams or Puka in this one. I've become a believer in Seattle.
Yes.
I would lean the Rams just with as high a level as Stafford is playing at right now. Sam Darnold has proven me wrong. And, JSN is on his way to a really special year at wide receiver. Maybe with Shaheen, they found another threat at wide receiver as well, Steve.
Yeah, I think he will get his couple touchdowns soon.
Both teams have decent running games, but, I like Kyron Williams, although that Charbonnet-Walker combination has been good, maybe not great. This one's a pick'em for me. I'm leaning Rams because they're playing at home, and with the way Stafford's playing, I can't wait to watch this game. By the way,
Seattle has shocked me too, Dave. We both didn't pick them to do as good in their extravaganza, but Seattle, they're awesome. I could see this going either way. I'm going to say I like the Rams because they're at home. But it could go either way. Seattle's playing tough right now.
I'm going to lean with the home team and the guy who I think is the MVP of the league right now, and that's my gut feeling for picking the Rams in this one. Just bottom line.
Yeah, I think the Rams take this. This is at LA at SoFi. Yeah. I just feel like it's their game to win. But I am ready for a good football game. Yeah, that's for sure. So we're going to get into our final segment. That is the bold prediction part, and we will lead with Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, we're going to keep the winning going. Wait, did you win the last bold prediction?
I did not. I did take. I had to take one on the chin, and that was my.
Can't always be perfect. Dave.
Yeah, I try. I'm going to have my first, by the way, game bold P. By the way, I haven't done a game yet. I've done a lot of performance by either the running back, the quarterback, the wide receiver. But I'm going to go with a bold P that's related to a game. I'm picking the Titans to upset the Texans. Call it a gut feeling, guys. The Texans are going to be without the services of their starting quarterback, C.J. Stroud. The Texans are 4-5. They did curb stomp the Titans the last time they played, 26-0 in Week 4. The largest shutout win in Texans franchise history. Couldn't believe that. And I know the Texans have the best defense right now. They're only allowing 16.7 yards per game allowed. Will Anderson, Steve, was that your pick, by the way, for
defensive player of the year?
Yeah, he's playing great. Total defense allowed, yards allowed, points allowed. This has been the best defense. However, 2025 first overall pick Cam Ward is starting to play a little bit better. He's fresh off his first career game without a turnover. He's thrown for over 250 yards or more 3 of the last 5 games. Following a Week 10 bye, Ward plays refreshed footballs, plays pretty well, takes care of the ball. I don't think they're going to have to score a lot of points against the Texans, especially with Stroud out. Even with Stroud healthy, this is not a good Texans offense. They have a terrible offensive line. They haven't been able to find a number 2 wide receiver. They haven't been able to run the ball fairly consistently. I think Ward and the Titans find out a way to secure their first home win and give them their second win of the season, and they pull off the upset against the Texans. That's bold. That's bold.
It is. That's a bold one. Do you think McCoy is doing a better job than Callahan at head coach for the Titans? And definitely Cam Ward is playing better.
Well, I've got to have a come to whatever here. I was not the biggest Cam Ward fan coming out of that draft. I thought, he had picked on some weak ACC defenses. I know he had a lot of college experience. My thing, I thought he was also a little bit more turnover prone. I think you saw that. I think you saw that in some early games. I like the way his game has been trending the last few weeks, which is my rationale behind this pick. I think he'll be able to take care of the football. And I just think they muck this up and win a close, low-scoring 13-10, 16-13 kind of game. Because I'm not a believer in this Davis Mills-led Houston offense. I didn't like the C.J. Stroud-led Houston offense. I really don't like the Davis Mills-led Houston offense. Go ahead, Brent. Attack me.
I feel like it's, 2 peewee teams playing each other here,
Okay.
and
I'll take the 8th graders versus the 7th.
That's kind of what this is. The JV team is now playing the freshman team in a scrimmage. And,
all right.
The parents are pitching underhand to the kids, and I'm just saying, man, this is. But anyways, it's okay.
Yeah, once in a while, Davis Mills can do something.
Yeah,
he came back and beat the Jaguars.
He's a career backup quarterback.
Wasn't he, the water boy for the game last week? Davis Mills. I thought him refilling the Gatorade thing, and this week he's the quarterback. Sorry, Dave. Anyway.
Sometimes you have to be bold. It's not the mild prediction. It's the bold prediction.
Yeah, he's coming off the street, and now he's playing. Okay, anyways. All right, we will get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, got a bold prediction. Steve, you won last week, right? Your bold prediction. Is that, or no? Is that another loss?
That was a loss, but looking for a win, kind of like the Henderson run.
Yeah.
There you go. Looking for Rashid Shaheed to get his 2 touchdowns.
I think we were both like 2 weeks late on Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
No, you were.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah. All right, Steve, get right into it.
All right, guys, I got the Packers at the Giants. My bold prediction is that Jameis Winston will throw for over 300 yards passing and 2 touchdowns against the Packers. With Jackson Dart hurt, he gets his first start of the season. The Packers have a tough defense, and I heard this day may come for rain, but I think Winston is a true competitor, guys. Look for Theo Johnson, Darius Slayton, and Wendell Robinson to have big games in this 300 yards. If the Giants can win, then the Packers would lose 3 in a row.
Yeah, this is a big game for the Packers.
Jordan Love hasn't looked so great lately.
Yeah.
I love Jameis Winston. It's going to be entertaining. I can't wait for the interviews. I don't know if I want to hear the interview.
Are you going to lick a W? Are you going to lick your W's?
He's going to be eating W's, man. You know that soup. Look for them W's and eat them up.
He
does.
We know how it goes with Jameis. His 2019 season, I would say, is emblematic of Jameis Winston. It was interesting. It was the 30 touchdown, 30-30.
He had a great season that year, but a lot of picks.
Exactly. It was the 30-30. It was the 30 touchdowns and the 30 picks. It's either going to one guy or the other guy.
But he had a lot of yards.
Yeah, right.
And just think about it. With Brady, he's slipping him in. But they,
Well, see, that's how I knew that roster was ready to win in the COVID year, because I said it. Well, if Brady just comes in and takes care of the ball, I know that Tom.
Yeah, they're in business.
Exactly, and then they made some off-season acquisitions to kind of help build out. They got Gronk
and Antonio
Brown came back. Playoff Leonard Fournette had some good games.
Yeah, Fournette was still rolling.
At running back, so that roster was kind of put together, and they had that great run in the playoffs. So. Yeah, Jameis, though, I could see him throwing 2 or 3 picks in this one, too, Steve. Yeah.
Well, he just,
He's fun to watch, guys. He's definitely entertaining.
But he tells God at the end, he goes, I'm sorry for the picks, and all is forgiven, you know?
I think he needs the big man upstairs to answer some of those prayers.
He does.
You know?
I'd love to see the Giants beat the Packers, though, boys. That'd be exciting.
All right, Steve, good pick there. Let's get to my Browns versus Ravens prediction.
Sure.
I have the Baltimore Ravens winning this one 30-21.
Really?
I feel it's good. There's going to be some scoring because if you watch the Ravens, they like to give it up a little bit. They like to give up some points.
Okay.
They're going to win. I think Lamar's going to go out, but I don't think it's going to be this 2-touchdown route. I don't think it's going to be a 3. I just don't see it, Steve. And the reason why I think that because it's at home. It's at home. I feel like it's at home, and they're going to keep that blowout. They're not going to,
How do we get to 21 points?
Well, I think I think there'll be some turnovers, and Dylan's going to do his thing. And you could score on the Ravens. You can.
Yeah, I think they're playing better on the defensive side of the football.
Sure, I know.
Last few weeks,
I know they can.
Are you just convinced that you said Dylan do his thing?
I think with Tommy Reese, meaning I think we're at home. We're with Tommy Reese. I think he's going to be somewhat effective. I think there will be some turnovers, some interceptions, maybe a pick 6. But Dylan's going to score, let's say, one passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown by Judkins, and maybe a turnover. There you go.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right.
But Dylan's, I don't think he's going to do terrible today. I just think at home the Browns always kind of show up. It's always been that way.
Okay. I think the defense can keep this in the game for about a half.
Yeah.
Maybe a little over the half. I think the third quarter is when this thing's really going to start to get dicey.
Yeah, and I think Dylan is just going to do it. But no, he's not taking us to the promised land. We know that. But I do think Tommy Reese gets them to play a little better, and we're going to stay in the game. Don't think it's a blowout, but 30-21. That's my prediction.
Dylan keeps his job for 1 more week then.
He does, but we really don't want him to because it's just we want to see the next thing. And also, time's ticking here.
Right.
We got to see Shedeur because we got to see what we're going to do for next year's draft.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the only thing. A friend of mine asked me last week after the loss to the Jets, he goes, what is there really, why is there a reason to watch this team the rest of the season? I said, basically just to see if Shedeur can prove to be a franchise quarterback. Or at least a capable NFL quarterback.
And remember, guys, I said 5 home games left. So don't think Jimmy doesn't want it.
Yeah, he's going to want to capitalize on that.
Yeah,
with Shedeur playing.
Now that's 5 games after today, or 5.
Yeah, out of our 8 games left, there's 5 home games,
and it includes today.
Correct.
Okay, so 4 left. He might want to make some bucks on the Shedeur,
especially if you see some empty seats with those $6 ticket prices.
And the thing is, actually, they could probably make there'd be some bucks being spent to see Shedeur at Cleveland Browns Stadium. All right, guys, let's get into some final thoughts and wrap it up. Dave?
Well, trying to be optimistic about today. The 4:00 games. The Browns are playing at 4:00 today. By the way, Seattle and the Rams also, I believe, play at 4:00 today. I'm wondering if I'm going to have more of an eye on that game than I will the Browns-Ravens game. But again, I think the defense can keep this game close for a while. But I'm just not optimistic about this offense anymore, Steve.
Yeah, guys. I realized this was a 4:00 game, and this isn't really one that needed to be a 4:00 game. I kept looking all week. Are they going to change this to a 1:00 and or whatever? How they could do that?
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to try to keep optimistic, but I just think it's going to be a tough one. But go Browns.
Yep. Well said. All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care.